Good morning. Every time I say that, I think of good morning,
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
I'm perfect the same. Yeah.
So, good morning. When it's Wednesday Wisdom on Women of Light Movement, and if you're watching from a different channel, we love you as well. Thank you for watching. I am here with the beautiful Katrina Noela. Katrina and I have known each other for a while because Katrina actually started, she came to my very first Women of Light meetup. So she's been with Women of Light since the very start, which is such a beautiful journey together, watching the growth in my business and me, and watching your growth, Katrina, has been amazing.
Yeah, I'm part of the foundational team here. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And so Katrina moved on and went into, did you do Awaken the Lioness?
I
Did
certainly
you?
did. Yes.
So she did, which is one of the foundational courses, my online course. And then she jumped into Conscious Creator Mastermind, which is my, you know, my cream on the top of the cake course.
The advanced course.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like there is that next level of inner circle as well. So that's something I've only done once, but I am considering doing it again. So for you to remember. So, but we have been watching your journey, and it's so exciting to watch your growth. So I'm going to let you share exactly. Let's start, because with conscious creation, we go, what is the desired end result? What's our current reality, right? So let's look at what your current reality was when you first started in Conscious Creator.
Conscious creator
Mhm.
specifically. So,
Well, did you get anything from Awaken, like for these particular things with your health? Did you have any change with Awaken the Lioness?
all steps for myself.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
my journey with Women of Light, with Lioness, and with Conscious Creator is stepping stones. You know,
Mm.
I might have been jealous of other people that seem to be going in leaps and bounds, but you know what? That wasn't my journey. So, one of the beautiful parts of these last couple of years has been accepting my journey,
Yeah,
accepting my timing,
yeah.
accepting the additional levels of insights and dynamics that were coming through in my stories, my ancestral stories, my energetic fields, past lives, other influences, etc. And we can get into that a little bit later. Um, but acknowledging my journey was part of the biggest puzzle piece for myself as to how I was experiencing the world. You know, they always said don't compare with other people. Use it as a guide if they've got something that you want, for example, but really don't compare because
Mm.
the stories are completely different. You know, if I compare myself with the people I went to school with, you know, they didn't have 12 people in their family with cancer just when our careers were kicking off, you know, and mine went to the back seat, um, and the like. So, you know, that's part of the past stories, uh,
Mm.
that were all bits and pieces of hooks that by the time I came to Sydney and I discovered Women of Light and then got into your programs, for me, it was then an unraveling of seeing how all of my stories of the past, in particular, have played a part as my learning foundation as to the conditioning that I had in my past for how to live life, how I was relating to relationships, and how I was co-creating my life consciously and unconsciously. So, where I was when I first started with Conscious Creator is I'd already started my own personal journey just ahead of yourself, meeting yourself here in Sydney, because I'm originally from Melbourne, for anyone who doesn't know that. And then, I was actually hit with, as I said, my experience of life. So when I was really starting Conscious Creator, I was also dealing with the dynamics of empathically absorbing the anxiety, the fear, the fight and flight need for survival of what was hitting with COVID in particular, but also moving states. So I already came in with my own that unsettled my soul, if you like. And then I got hit without consciously knowing it with all of these extra energies. And I was feeling everyone, and I was feeling the grief, and I was even seeing into the future of all the discrimination, all the separations of families and relationships and society discriminations, things like that. So I was actually feeling all of that in advance as well. So when I met you, I was feeling anxiety. I was really fearful. I was really lost and confused for a lot of the part. I wasn't believing in myself. I wasn't really connected to my purpose, because for me as a singer, I came to Sydney just ahead of the bushfires and COVID hitting and all the restrictions. So everything started shutting down for me. And it was quite a humbling moment also, because all those things I thought I was going to jump straight into came crashing down.
But also you had, when I first met you, you could hardly eat anything. Is that like, I remember you, like, we went out for dinner and you had like steamed fish and some veggies or something, and that's pretty much your diet at the time, yeah?
It was not. So as I've also discovered, is all of what I thought was just simple physical sensitivities and digestive issues, it was actually impacted by all the emotional stuff that was coming in and being absorbed by my being. So yes, so that was a big pain on so many levels, because when you can't eat normally, and I was really quite restricted down to liquid diets at one stage, and it's really disheartening because you feel separated yourself from society. It's not easy going out to restaurants, and you'd be hungry and you'd look at a line of shop and you need a freaking thing. And so you're frustrated. It's not their fault. And then I also started blaming myself. It's something within me. I can't do this. I'm unwell. And there's something I'm doing wrong. So I did all the blaming on me of what was going on. And at a higher level, yes, that's true. I was co-creating that, because I wasn't understanding that I had all these other energetic levels that were just piling on. So it's like I had a messy room, if you like, from my past. It was quite dusty with lots of stories, but then you had all this absorbing of everybody else's energies on top of that, and I still wasn't dusting that out and cleaning that out. So of course my whole system was overloaded and I couldn't process life.
So really, when I listen to that analogy of it, it's no understanding of how to have your own energetic boundaries, right?
Yeah,
and
one of the big major puzzle pieces that made a turn for me. So as soon as I started realizing that it wasn't just the food, it wasn't just my body that was causing these inabilities to eat food comfortably and easily without feeling physical effects from it, which for others out there, might include bloating, flatulence, bad breath, bad sleeping and things like that. So all those common and moodiness and depression, emotions and things like that. So because obviously, as we know, if our gut goes out, everything else goes out. So once I realized that in particular was being really impacted by the energetic boundary, because I didn't actually define who I was compared to the rest of the world. And as soon as I started creating that energetic boundary and going, nope, that's yours, not mine, I return it to the sender, and that type of intention work and building that muscle, because it is a muscle that you've got to build for that energetic boundary. And that's when things started shifting for me.
also, one of the things that we teach in Conscious Creator, as you know, is that there are no conditions to creation, right? And so looking and understanding that there were definitions that were being placed on what was happening, and letting go of those definitions can also clear a lot of that stuff, like, because we define something as right or wrong, good or bad, hot or cold, whatever it is, we define it in the way we've been, given the worldview from our conditioned past, all of these things. And so when we can start releasing those conditions and those definitions, a lot of it just falls away, right? And so, being aware of how to shine your light and use that as your boundary rather than as a protection, like that's when you become more empowered, like you become more aware of, what's going on? There's something in my field, okay, I can clear it, I can let go of it, that's not mine, or whatever it might be. And so those things slowly stop happening, right? Because there's that awareness of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you first discover something, you do create that defensive line, but that's the wall, and that's another condition. So one of the blessings is I remember working with you and working through Conscious Creator. So I was already consciously seeing these boundaries, seeing these things, but I also worked on you with one-on-one, and I remember this wonderful experience where I was being attacked by wolves in this particular past life memory, and I was scared, and I was feeling like I had nowhere to turn, so I was very vulnerable. And one of the shining lessons that I got out of that, thanks to your assistance also, is that it's not about needing protection from other people or needing that boundary line for protection, but actually the more I open instead of contract, the more I shine and own who I am, I actually don't need to worry about those things, because my light literally shone onto these shadowy wolves that were representative of any shadow, right? Any darkness in that sense. And the more I shone, not only did some move away, but others actually became gentle.
Yeah.
And then you made that, we could connect, and the threat was no longer there. So absolutely, I have learnt that through these programs, to honor who I am and let that be my shining light, my shining boundary, without the boundary being a hard line. But, the women of light and women in general, we are flow.
Yeah.
We are this beautiful flowing energy. So claiming that instead of a masculine hard line as my protection.
Yeah. And what also, it's in my understanding, because I've been in the spiritual realm for 24 years now, and one of the things about taking that ownership and understand is actually a new level of consciousness in spiritual development, because there was, for many years, we had to hold this boundary, we had to do all these things to support ourselves, to stay away from the enemy or the darkness or whatever it might be, instead of understanding all of it as a oneness. And like when you neutralize that and you just shine your light, anything that vibrates that doesn't have that same frequency has to move away, or things can transmute, as you said, with the softness of those wolves. And if we'd had more time in that session, for example, those wolves may have been your familiar, right, and allies. And
Correct.
So and so the change, the transmutation of those energies into a higher vibration as well, so that there's more connection, and anything outside of that just has to gently move away. It's actually science, right? It's a vibrational frequency, quantum, mechanics. That's the way those things happen.
Yeah.
And so what part?
And it's also symbolic of the impact that we can have on the others. So being the co-creator of our experiences in our life is when we can shift into that space, that energetic state, that emotional state, and then we shine and expand through love and who we actually are. And then, yes, you actually literally watch it shine onto the people around you, and then acknowledging that it's still their choice. It's their choice. They have to choose to soften into love, also into themselves, into alignment, or retaliate from it, or restrict it,
hold on to their patterns or whatever it might be. Yeah,
that's right. So, but we can't control that.
Yeah. And that's what's so beautiful about it, right? Is being able to totally respect someone's space for exactly who they are. And, like, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. It's being neutral to the whole experience. No judgment of right or wrong again. It's coming up into that next level, right? So
correct. Well, you have that energetic understanding and transformation for ourselves, but that also then comes through into our behaviors, our patterns, our communication patterns. So I've noticed and watched my language change over the last few years to be more in line with who I am, to be in alignment with who I choose to be in discussions, in arguments. Like, I've never been one to yell, but that's also part of the identity that I had watching, my brother and my father yell at each other. I chose not to fight back then. And I still believe we don't have to fight. We just have to actually know who we are and what we want and state it.
Yeah.
People have a choice to listen and meet you in that invitation that is there. And if it's a right fit for them, then they'll join you and co-create with you again further. And if they're not, it's not their story and it's not their choice. Or they're not ready, the timing might be off. Something that you have to dance with to know, how to dance that song.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I've found. We do a lot of work with chakras, and the throat chakra always comes up, when I tune in to do when we're doing the recoding or whatever it is, that there's a few different techniques, right? And so the throat chakra inevitably often comes up because that's where a lot of us women find that suppression from, through generations of suppression. And so
many people are suppressed. And on top of that, we've been conditioned to not express that part. So even though we know we could or should, or not that I like the word should, but the need to express our emotions, even to self-soothe. It doesn't always have to be with other people, but having that self-expression, journal work, which, like with Lioness work and others, but developing that voice and that ability to express is actually something I'm very passionate about with not only myself, as that's grown and grown and grown, because I had a lot of ancestral things. I had a lot of self-imposed sabotages for voice, and being a singer, that's an issue. Being an expressions coach, that was an issue. So I mean, as they say though, we learn what we need to teach. So I've learned a lot of different dynamics to simply vocalizing who I am, both in song, but also in speech. And so I can now hear so many things in people's tonalities to help them actually navigate what they're suppressing and what they're not, and what they're really saying behind what they're saying, and then helping them now consciously understand that and now consciously choose how to express in a more healthy way.
Because, it's not, one of the things about the throat chakra is finding that balance, because we can often go from suppression to aggression, like, and so all of a sudden it's becoming flared out, because we've got all this stuff to express, and we express it in another imbalanced way on the other side of the spectrum. And it's being able to find, when you connect it with the heart chakra, and the womb, being able to connect those parts and be able to just express from being empowered and humble and connected to self and others, it makes a huge difference to how you navigate the world and all of those things. So one of the things that
I was just going to say, that's what I actually love about the recoding part, because it's natural development when we've had the light turned on an issue, to swing the complete opposite, because that's part of the dual nature of our human beingness, so that we can know the edges, so that we can find the middle, the homeostasis, so that's where I really do resonate with the recoding, because that's what we're doing. We're actually looking at both of those ends, and then deciding, ultimately we're neutralizing both of them.
Yes.
And then from the neutral position, then we get to choose
which one. Yeah, that's the double bubble.
Well, correct. So and even if it's not the double bubble specifically, that's still at the core heart
of the recoding,
because you're actually doing that at the energetic level, of subconscious level, and getting the subconscious to do that inner work to find neutrality, so that you can choose.
Yeah.
So it's same, just different description in my
yeah. And so just to finish off, the one other thing that we mentioned in the preview was about I think you told us as part of that process, was that you were also not bleeding as well. Is that right? Like you hadn't bled for a long time. So, and one of your desired end results is to have a baby.
Well, correct. Yeah, I had a baby, and I'm very kinesthetic, so I'd also like to feel what that was like. And so yes, so I've worked quite a bit on my hormones and digestion, which are interlinked, and my adrenal as well, and spleen. So because they all are affecting each other. So when we said before, there's multiple dynamics, multiple puzzle pieces for the end result, which is what we do in the recoding and the life with Conscious Creator. There's a lot of those different parts of the physical body coming into play, creating this as well. So my digestion was out, my hormones were out, my adrenals were out, and so yes, so the shifts that I've actually had, as you said, include bleeding. So I haven't formally properly bled a 5-6 day period, probably for about 5-6 years, which at my age and from society's conditioning, let me add, was a little concerning, because I thought I was missing my window. And that part was devastating. But if I allow that to only be the identity and understanding that I choose, but with being a co-creator of my life, I've actually been able to realign my body, and I'm still in the process, but I've realigned my body enough that I've started having my first period again.
Yeah.
And so that is very, very exciting.
Very exciting. Yes, let's not just that's a big thing.
As I said, like, I haven't found my journey to be leaps and bounds, but it's been these micro steps, mini steps along the way.
That are really powerful though, right? Like,
of course, all of them. I honestly tell you some of the stories and what we've uncovered, and having my essence in a complete fetal position, for example. Well, no wonder I couldn't move in the physical life if my essence was that scared, and because of all the different abuses and whatnot. So so nurturing her, nourishing her. If she wasn't nourished, for example, why would she feel safe enough to have a child in this life and be safe in her body and everything else? So it's been quite a journey of filtering out all of those different parts to ultimately self-love again, to hold that space, to do the physical actions that I need to do to actually bring more love into my body, my heart, take down the walls that I had around my heart, take down the resistance I had in my digestion to digesting life, and life events, this lifetime and other lifetimes, through to any and every depth. Really, we've dealt with a lot.
We've done a lot, haven't we?
We've done a lot.
On a journey, yeah.
And part of, reclaiming who I am, I can also say for anybody who's starting to see behind the veils, there are many veils of our existence. It's not just physical and it's not just what we see in society, but there is absolutely energetic, there's emotional, and spiritual levels, and there's many different levels, and to galactic and all that jazz. So if you need a conversation of depth, no problem, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I can speak in those languages.
Yeah.
And because that's also where my journey took me. So for example, being a part of the programs here has been a big aspect of me claiming those other parts that society has banished, persecuted, punished, dismissed as woo-woo, unintelligent.
Abused.
That's right. Just, complete, like Dr. Emoto's work with the water crystals is, if you don't give something energy, it dies. It can't form. So I'm no longer not claiming that part. I'm actually claiming that part for not only myself, but womanhood, sisterhood, and this planet, that absolutely they exist, and they are part of our experience, and they more than likely will be affecting the rest of the ladies' stories as well, in whatever their soul level needs it to.
Well, as you were talking, I was just thinking about how much I love Conscious Creator, because, we had. What was that? Sorry.
We can easily go to those levels.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. From the different types of women that are in there, right? So at any given stage, you can be not into this sort of stuff at all and still be in Conscious Creator. We've got women in there that are Christians and have these, various beliefs. Muslim. We've got a lady in there that's a Muslim, and then we've got, this realm of alternative, in a way, spiritual, or the awakening of all the different realms and the oneness and everything like that. And then we've got people that have got no concept of any of that are just here to work on the, like their business and their health, and and all come together in this beautiful sisterhood of energies that are all working for this higher cause of just coming to living the life that they love, right? And actually owning it.
Absolutely, that's right.
Yeah, I love it.
It doesn't matter what's, where we're coming from at all. We just hold each other in that space, and we show up for each other, when we need to, when
absolutely
a hand, or if we happen to see it, and
So just to finish off, Katrina, can you share with us some of the things that have physically been happening for you as well now? I know we've spoken a couple of times, you're able to eat sourdough bread, and there's all this yummy stuff, and you had an ice cream the other day, right? So
yeah, not dairy ice cream, but yeah, no. I'm still working on the full ability to process sugar again.
Yeah.
But yes, I am. The sourdough is the latest one. I'm loving it. Mind you, steps. Yeah. Still working on the physical form as well. So the physical body still needs to sometimes rebuild its cellular physicality. But basically I acknowledge that my body wants high quality, pure foods primarily. So just knowing where to go to get it. But yes, I'm excited to say that from where, I first was with the having a liquid diet through and bloating with everything that I was eating, and then being quite affected for at least half an hour after I eat, and stripped of energy, etc., etc. I now know the foods that are better for me. I'm eating solid foods and need it. I'm eating a lot more proteins, healthy proteins of meats and chickens. I'm also starting to eat some red meat, including lamb in particular. So that was something that I couldn't easily do, or at all. I'd bloat and have all sorts of
dis-ease within your body, right? Like just, yeah.
It didn't like it. Let's just say it didn't like it, because it threw my body into overload. So now that I was able to clear out a whole bunch of, is it the golfer holes that you say?
Yeah.
The golfer hole.
Yeah. Just gently put the
correct. So I smoothed
dirt back in.
So the meat, the meat and the like don't keep falling in.
Yeah.
So I thought you'd like that one.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Well, that makes me good. But yes, so I'm doing that. I'm actually managing to have a glass of red wine only now and again. Alcohol's still sugar, but I don't react like I used to. Like I used to have a couple of sips of the alcohol and I'd feel the reaction already. Whereas, I had 2 glasses the other week, and I might have been a little bit acidic the next day, but I know how to process it. I know how to handle it. My body can handle it better.
Yeah.
So digestion.
So you're feeling a bit more connected to society, right? Like,
I'm more connected. Excuse me. As I said, I've got movement in my menstruation. Healing there, and my energy.
Your relationship as well. Like there's been shifts within your relationship as well, which is so nice.
So correct. So because obviously when those things start neutralizing and coming back into alignment, then you are not as angry, you're not as frustrated, you're not as tired and depressed. So that absolutely has an impact on the people around me, in particular my partner, but also just the stories with friends and things like that, because when we can affect the people around us. So sorry, burping happens. I'm transforming energy. So
that's another thing that we do.
Unfortunately, I'm not alone. There are others out there like myself that burp to transform energy. So as we're talking, I'm transforming energy right now. And so in regards to the next physical results, if you like, is that I'm more confident in who I am and what I want to achieve. I'm claiming myself as the vocalist I actually am. I'm got my beautiful now sound bowls that are like a soul match, and I love them. And so I'm actually putting on vocal sound bath healings and glorious experiences more and more. So I'm just booking all those in. The next one's on the 24th of this month in Summerhill, if anyone wants to come along.
Plus you do private gatherings as well, is that right? So if people have things at their house, yeah, absolutely.
So they can be gathered around with and surrounded by their family and friends, so that they can know everybody as well, if that makes them feel safe or comfortable, or just because it's fun.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's nurturing and it's nourishment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if anyone wants to get in contact with Katrina about her music, she's got this unbelievably beautiful angelic voice that goes with. I've listened to her video that she put together. when she first got the bowls, and you know, the voice that I knew already. You had this beautiful, very classical, amazing voice, angelic, and when it's with the bowls, it's just like next level. It's quite amazing. So
It's been, you know, talking about relationships, discovering this new relationship has been fabulous because yes, the bowls resonate on them on their own, and yes, I vibrate singing, but when the combination actually expands both the bowl and myself. So you know, as you say, next level, next level.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
fantastic. So, and I'm collaborating with another girlfriend as well, to create a whole bunch of workshop series that not only can we do, yes, the sound healings and the vibrational realignments, but also educate further on the physical, on the emotional, on the energetic boundaries, to help people actually develop that for themselves and reconnect to those tools that they can actually pull upon. So
yeah.
all of us beautiful ladies are really owning who we are through this work.
Absolutely,
So you've got to do
becoming.
this work. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't escape it.
absolutely.
You've got to grow.
So Katrina, have you got a an event coming up that you could put the link in to the chat, into the comments?
Yes, what I'll do, I'll add it to the comments.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you'd like to come along, I'd love to have you there. Uh, then and we
Yes.
can transcend together.
Yes.
Just keep raising our vibration. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
Into
So
happiness,
thank you
into
so
joy.
much for coming on and sharing your story. And for anyone that's really interested in finding out more about Conscious Creator or Awaken the Lioness, would just like to have a conversation about where they're at and where they want to be instead, then we'll put the link in. Or actually, I'll just get you to put yes, please in the comments, and then we can have a conversation and just see if we're a match. And if not, you know, I often, introduce people to other people if I feel that that's where they need to be, or if, you know, if we are a match, then we can just go from there and talk about the process of working with me. So thank you so much. We went over a little bit, but it was such a beautiful story, and it's just been such an honor watching you grow and expand, and, you know, be able to eat this and eat that, you know, like, and change things as you go along. And
Thank you, lovely.
as you said, you know, there was a part that you said that I was going to come back to. We never got time to, but everyone's got their own journey, right? And sometimes we just don't know what's in somebody's field. And you know, if you're someone that has been trying other things and it's not working, then please get in contact with us, because this stuff is magical, and, you know, miracles do happen. So it's really clearing the codes that we've been that have been placed on us before we even knew, and bringing back the codes that are our authentic self, you know, and then being able to utilize those to collapse time and, you know, start being conscious creators and women of light, so that we can make a big dent in the world and change this world for the better. So
You do not need to be fixed. You just need to claim what is yours.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Katrina, and thank you everyone that's watching. We will jump in and go through the comments and answer any questions anyone might have. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.